Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are a Sephora VIB Rouge member, then the sale for you starts today and you can save 20% with the code HEYROUGE. If you are a Beauty Insider member or a VIB member, you have to wait a little bit longer. May 2nd is when the sale starts for you. In any event, it is going to end on May 6th. I recently did a video talking about my wish list for the sale, and today I wanted to share my recommendations to you. So what I did is I went through my entire collection and gathered an alarming number of items that I truly love and that I would definitely recommend. I did limit it just to makeup items simply because skincare and hair care is so highly personalized that I just don't feel right making recommendations in that regard. When I do fall in love with a skin or hair item, I always tell you guys about it in a video, but I just wanted to limit it to makeup, and even at that, there is a ton of stuff in front of me. So, let's do this. I'm not going to rank these in any particular order, but I have gone through and categorized them by makeup type. So what I figure we'll do is we'll start with the complexion products and then move into the color cosmetics. So first up is foundation, and I have 3 to recommend to you. All 3 of these I have talked about on my channel at some point or another, but it bears repeating. So the first one is from Clinique, and this is the Even Better foundation. To me, this is just a little workhorse foundation. It does have some SPF in it. It's SPF 15. I wouldn't rely entirely on this for your SPF needs, but nice to know there's a little added something in there. This is just perfect everyday makeup. It isn't too full coverage. It's not too sheer. It's right smack dab in the middle. It has a nice sort of satin matte finish, if that makes sense. Like a demi-matte, I guess. It just looks like skin, and it's very breathable and wearable in the sense that it doesn't feel heavy on your skin. And even by the end of the day, when I wear this one, I'm not like itching to take my makeup off. So this is one that I think is highly underrated here on YouTube, and it really does deserve more credit. Also, the packaging is very nice because it is like a little squeeze bottle that just shot extra product out at me. So it's very functional packaging as well. Next up is an item from First Aid Beauty, and this is the Ultra Repair Tinted Moisturizer. So it's not actually a foundation, but it does offer a little bit of coverage, and I just find this perfect for like weekend wear or days when I don't really want to be arsed with a full face of makeup, but do still want a little bit of evening out and just a little bit of extra coverage. This will get it done. Again, with the squeeze tube, and I just find like I don't need to set it. I don't really even need to go in and do extra contouring or anything like that because it is such light coverage. It is a little bit on the dewier side, but not to the point where you look oily or greasy at all. It's just a beautiful, beautiful finish. And again, like I said, this is great for like when I have to take Aspen to dance class or something like that and I want to look a little bit put together but not done up. This is a great option. Last but certainly not least is the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. I love it. I love this foundation. This is such a beautiful product. It's what I'm wearing on my face today. I didn't set it with any sort of powder. It feels like it dries down to like a powder finish, so I don't feel that I need to set it. It, again, is just a really lightweight makeup product, and I think that's sort of the running theme. Like, I don't like foundations that are super thick. I don't like extreme coverage. I don't feel I need extreme coverage. This one is medium coverage. I think you could build it up beyond that. And it's just beautiful. Like, it doesn't settle into fine lines. It doesn't separate on my face throughout the day. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous product. Again, squeeze bottle. I love that. I was talking with somebody in the comments recently about foundations where you have to buy the pump like separate, and that is just, no. not acceptable. I love squeeze tubes because then you can actually use everything that is in there, and it offers you a lot more control as well, rather than a pump. One thing that I do want to point out with this is that it is $50 for a bottle, which is fairly standard pricing here in Canada at Sephora, but you get 1.6 fluid ounces in here. So typically speaking, when you're buying a foundation, you're getting 1 fluid ounce. You get 1.6. You're getting like 1.5 times, a little bit more, for basically the same price as other foundations from other high-end brands. So it is really good value as well, and I just can't stop raving about this one. Next up are concealers, and again I have 3 options. 2 of them to me are pretty much interchangeable, and they are the Tarte Shape Tape. This is being talked about by a million people, and the Jouer Essential High Coverage. They are very, very similar. If I had to pick just one, I would go with the Jouer, just because I find it to be a little bit more hydrating under the eyes, and that is what gives it the edge. But overall, these are both high coverage, yet highly blendable, long-lasting, long-wearing concealers that don't do what you don't want them to do. They don't bunch up, they don't move around, they don't get all cakey and creasy, they don't look crepey under your eyes. They're both just beautiful, and like I said, they are very similar. The other one that I want to talk about is actually from MAC. As you may know, MAC is now sold in Sephora. At least a selection of their items are, but one of them is one of their concealers, and this is the 24-Hour Studio Fix Smooth Wear Concealer. I freaking love this. I really, really like this. I've had it for 2-3 months maybe, and I'm already down to here in it, having also used others, and I just keep gravitating back towards this. I find it to be very hydrating under my eyes. I also really like the tone of it. I have not yet come across a concealer that's quite as yellow as this one, and it actually works for me. So if you are not yellow based, obviously it's not. This is the shade NC20, and I just really like it. It is like, there is a lot of coverage to it. It does last a very long time. It doesn't crease up on me either, and I really like it, and I don't find that it gets dry or crepey looking under my eyes at all. I find it to be very hydrating, and I really do like this one. Another product that I've talked about before, but that I'm going to talk about again, and you've probably heard many, many other people rave about this. It's the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I have said in the past that I used to just think, you know, like a powder's a powder, like what does it matter? And then I had a deluxe size sample of this one and really did get to see the benefits of it. It really does blur out fine lines. It really does set your makeup beautifully. It doesn't crease. It doesn't look powdery or cakey on your skin. It is just a beautiful product. It is expensive, but I really do think that it's worth it, especially for under the eyes. I'm not one to bake, but I do find that I have to set my under eyes, especially with each passing year. Those little crevices that are under there are getting a little bit deeper each year, and so I really do need to set them, and this one just works wonderfully for me. Now on to bronzer, blush, and highlighter. A bronzer that I want to talk about is fairly new to me, like very new to me. I've had it less than a week, but I have fallen so hard for it. It's from Charlotte Tilbury, and it is the Contour Wand. Oh my god, it is so good. I use it for contouring, so I don't know if I should really classify it as a bronzer, but you know, 6 of one, half dozen the other. It has like a little sponge tip applicator. I love that it locks into place, so you're not going to get accidental spills or anything like that. You just kind of apply it and then blend it out. It blends like a bloody dream. It is beautiful. I am wearing it today. I find that it gives a very natural look while still carving out sort of the hollows of the face beautifully. So it is expensive. It's $50 for this tube, but during the sale, obviously, you get to save a little bit of money, but I would definitely recommend this one because it blends so nicely. I always get worried, especially with dark shades like this, that it's just, you're going to have that initial line, and yeah, you can blend a little bit along the edges, but you're never really going to blend it all the way out. Not the case with this one. I do apply it like all over where I'm going to contour, and it doesn't dry out. So by the time I've like worked my way around, there's no issues with blending it. But then once I have blended, it doesn't like shift around or disappear or anything like that throughout the day. And like I said, it is just a very natural looking finish. So I really like this one. Another bronzer that I want to talk about is also new. It arrived in the same package as that one. But again, I have fallen hardcore very, very quickly. And it is one of the Stalk'r bronzers from Fenty. I have the shade Into Sun. I think this is the lightest shade that they offer, and it is rather neutral. So there is really no orange undertone there, and I just find that it's perfect. Again, I'm wearing it today. It is very subtle. I like a subtle bronzer. I like being able to build it up, but this one has just a little bit more depth to it than the Huda Light that I typically gravitate towards. It's so like finely milled. It is just beautiful. And there it is there. Like I said, it is quite light and quite subtle, but still, obviously you can see it there. It blends out like a dream. I'm really happy with the tone of it. I was going to get one of the other shades and then thought, well, maybe I'll go for the lightest and see where that gets me. And it's perfect for me, at least for my skin tone. For blushes, I have mentioned this one in the past. It is from Inc.redible, and it is one of their bounce blushes. This is in the shade Be My First Kiss. It's only $12 to begin with, so, you know, even if you don't get it during the sale, like, it's not going to break the bank, but it is like a little, like, jelly kind of, not really jelly, it's a cream blush, but it's just so pretty, and it blends out so nicely. So, like, I have it, obviously, there on my hand. Just take a little brush, and you can see how easily it blends while not blending away to nothing. Like, it's a beautiful color. You can just bounce it out with your finger. It blends effortlessly, but then it still locks in and lasts all day. And I love the shade of this one. So for $12, it's a fantastic little product. Lastly, for blush is from Clinique, and it's one of their cheek pops. This one's in the shade Ginger Pop. I was super late to the game on these. They've been around for ages, and I didn't get mine until like the end of last year. And they're so nice. And they're super pigmented, like, they're super pigmented. They blend out beautifully, so it's not like you have like clown cheeks or anything. But they're again, the lasting power is there, and the blending is effortless, yet again, which is something that I look for in a blush because I don't want to look like a clown. And this helps me achieve that. For highlighters, I have two oldies but goldies. So one is from Urban Decay, and it is their Afterglow 8-Hour Powder Highlighter in the shade Sin. And you can see that I have got some very good use out of this one. It is just a beautiful champagne-y kind of highlight without being glittery. Like, there's no glitter in there whatsoever. It blends out very nicely on the skin. It does last a very long time. And it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. The other one that I have here is from Becca, and it's in the shade Moonstone. These two are very similar in terms of how they look on the skin, but there is a slight tonal difference between the two. Sin is just a little bit more on the gold side, whereas Moonstone has maybe just a little bit more of like a whiter base to it, but they are very similar. Before we get into like the really fun stuff, let's talk about eyeliner and mascara. For eyeliner, I really only have one that I'm just currently so in love with. I have talked about them a number of times. They are the Pretty Easy liners from Clinique. It was a subscriber who suggested these to me well over a year ago, and I thank you so much because they're fantastic. These are brush tip liners. They don't feather, they don't bleed on the inner corner, they don't smudge around. I find that they do last throughout the day. There is a very nice precise tip to them, so I can create a wing with them, and they just glide across the lid very easily. So these two are just, again, I don't know what it is with Clinique. Nobody really talks about them, but they do have some gem products. For mascara, I have 3 to talk about, and they all kind of give the same effect. I want a mascara that will just sort of give that extra lift to my lashes and just fatten them up a bit. I do have fairly full lashes to begin with, but they certainly can use some help just fighting gravity a little bit. So first up is the Kush mascara from Milk Makeup. It is so good. Like, it's just so good. They've just come out with a waterproof version. I won't be buying that because I don't like waterproof mascara. They've also come out with a mascara primer, which I don't think you need with this, to be honest. I mean, everybody has their own needs and preferences, but I don't feel compelled to get it. There is the, sorry, I've got a hair on my face. There's the wand that goes with it. It is just this big old fluffy thing here. Now, when you read the description, it says that it has little like heart-shaped fibers and all this. I have never once noticed with this fibers at all. I've never, like, while washing it off, had little like black specks all over my face. Remember I used one once. Who was it from? Might have been Blink. And it was a goddamn mess. I would try to take it off at night and I would have like, it looked like a million spiders had like disintegrated on my face. Not a good look. This does not do that. Throughout the day, it doesn't flake off on me. I don't have, again, little spidery leg looking things on my face. It's just a great, great mascara. Also, Monsieur Big from Lancome. This is a deluxe size sample, but I have been loving it. It doesn't clump the lashes up, but it really does help to boost them, and I can feel, there's the hair. It's one of Aspen's hairs. I can see the thickening of the lashes, but it's not clumping them together. Like, it just really does help to boost the overall look of them. It does help to lengthen them, and you don't need a million coats to achieve that look. So you don't have like super crunchy lashes either. This is another one that I currently have on my loves list, and I am strongly debating picking up a full size, even though I have a million mascaras. This one is from Dior. It is the Pump and Volume HD. It's got like a little squeezy body here, and apparently that's supposed to help like take off the excess. I don't know about that. I think it's just like entertainment, but whatever. It has like one of those rubberized wands, so it's not like the bristle brush. But again, same effect. It lifts the lashes, it fattens them up, it lengthens them, but it also fans them out and doesn't clump them together. And again, no smudging off, no flaking onto my face. I really do like this one. Normally, I don't really find that spending $35, $40 on a mascara is really worth it, but for this one, I would consider it because I really do like it. Like, I really do like it. Okay, now on to the fun stuff. So I have a number of eyeshadow options to talk about and some lip products. So I'm going to go through the lip products first, and then we'll talk about the eyeshadows. So there are a couple in here that should come as absolutely no surprise to you. Exhibit A, Fenty Gloss Bomb in the original shade. It is so lovely. I have talked about this, I have raved about this in multiple videos. I'm not going to stop anytime soon. Everything about it, from the scent, which is just divine. Oh, it's so good. From the scent to the packaging, to the appearance of it, to the longevity of it, to the comfort of it. Like, it's just, even if you're not a gloss person, I think you'll like this. I'm not, like, I don't consider myself to be a gloss person, although I'm starting to get there as I'm finding glosses that work for me. When I think gloss, I still think like gummy, gross stuff in the corner of my mouth. I still think sticky and just a hot mess. And the ones that I'm going to talk about, including this one, are nothing like that. This is just, oh, it's so good. And when it goes, like, when it runs out, I will definitely be repurchasing this. If they ever discontinue this, I'll probably die. Sticking with Fenty, here's another one that I've talked about a million times. This one is the Stunna lip paint in the shade Uncuffed, and it's just this beautiful rosy tone. It goes with basically any makeup look that I like put together. I love it for work, especially on days when I'm going to have like a bunch of appointments or days when I'm going to court because I'm going to be talking and don't necessarily have the time to touch up my makeup. There's the shade there. The reason why I like it so much on those days is because it lasts forever. It has such good longevity without drying out your lips, without becoming uncomfortable or getting that like butthole look going on. It's just beautiful. It does wear away evenly. You can reapply it on top of itself without it becoming crumbly. I cannot say enough good things, particularly about this shade. I have some of the others. The red is gorgeous. There's a bright pink one that I love as well. I have the black, not as much in love with that one, but this Uncuffed, like, strongly recommend. Going back to the gloss thing for a minute, I did get the trio of Pat McGrath glosses. So these are their Flesh Fantasy glosses. And this one, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see or not. It is damned near empty because I cannot stop wearing it. It is so pretty. So again, same kind of deal with these glosses. They're not sticky. They don't slide around on the mouth. They don't like, you know, camp out in the corners of your mouth. They don't do anything that you don't want them to do. They don't feather around. They're just so nice. They're so comfortable. There is a good amount of pigmentation with them. I really do recommend these. So whether it's a matter of getting the trio or just getting an individual shade, I have this one here on my loves list to replace. And this one is in the shade. Okay, so Flesh Fantasy is the shade of this. These are called the Lust glosses. Sorry, I messed up. I just love this one. In fact, I'm going to apply it over top of the lipstick that I'm wearing because I like it so much. I even like the applicator with them. Like, it's just a little bit of a curved doe foot. And they're just so nice. So nice. So this is one that I think I will be purchasing during the sale myself. What the hell? Okay, now that I've had a minor coronary, let's move on to the last lipsticks. They're from Charlotte Tilbury. They are the Matte Revolution lipsticks. I have the shade Bond Girl and Very Victoria. Bond Girl has a bit more pigmentation to it than the other, and Very Victoria I find is like a My Lips But Better kind of shade. So this one is Bond Girl, this is Very Victoria. They are obviously matte, as the name would suggest, but they're not drying. They don't cling to every little like crevice in your lips. They don't dry your lips out. They are so comfortable. If you didn't know that they were matte, you would just, by the feel of them, you would think that they were like an amplified from MAC. Like, that's sort of the feel of them. They're not super creamy, but they're still like hydrating on the lips. They're just a very, very comfortable lipstick to wear. So these do retail for $39 each. So if you can pick them up during the sale and save a little bit of change, so much the better. All right, now it's the race to see if I can finish up eyeshadows before my camera overheats, because I'm already getting the warning on it. So let's start with the single eyeshadows. I only have, well, I have two products, but 4 shades. So I don't know where the 3 came from, but whatever. One of them is from Tarte. Again, I've talked about this before. This is the Chrome Paint in Top Yacht. And I don't think that I'll ever not love this. Like, I really, really don't. It is foiled as heck. Like, it is so metallic, so reflective. If you put it on your lid without a primer, it's still gonna last all day. It doesn't crease up, it doesn't fade, it doesn't just disappear throughout the day. By the end of the day, it still looks as reflective as this as it did before. If you want to blend matte shadows around it, it's still going to play nice with that, so it doesn't shift around or anything. Like, it's just a lovely product. I really wish that they would come out with like a full range of colors, but Top Yacht is my favorite. Next up, again, I think probably other people have talked about these, but the Stila Glitter and Glows are just so good. My favorite's in the shade Wanderlust, and I have a couple others to show you as well. I don't like the shimmer and glows, so the just strict liquid eyeshadows. I just find that they're very inconsistent. I have a few of them. Some of them are very good. Others are very patchy. But the glitter and glows are very consistent across the board. So no, I was not able to finish before my camera overheated. It cut me off at some point. But what I was saying about the glitter and glows is that they're designed to last. They're just designed to last. So they don't crease about, and like I said, if you use a glitter glue, you don't even get glitter raining down. So here are three of my favorite shades. This one here is Wanderlust, this is Smoky Storm, and then over here is Diamond Dust. All three of them are stunning, frankly, as are the other ones in the line as well. But these three are the ones that have just like completely captured my heart. And now it is time for palettes. This is the fun stuff. So I have dedicated reviews, I think, on all of these, like everyone in the line. The Huda Beauty Mini Obsessions palettes. These are just the gemstone ones. I have all the original ones as well. And if you go back into like the archives of my videos, there will be dedicated reviews on all of those around like November, December 2017. They're all equally stunning. There's not a dud in the bunch, at least in my opinion. These gemstone ones are fantastic because they have like the dedicated color stories. So if you know that you're a fan of, because it's in my hand, blue eyeshadow, then this is the palette for you. These retail for $35 each. Every palette has a mix of shimmer and mattes in there. They even have really nice like warm neutral options to choose from, and then super fun green as well. So there really is a palette for everybody. I really like them. I really like these palettes. I do find that they're easy to work with. The mattes blend really well. The shimmers are just stunning on the eyes. And like I said, I haven't found a dud amongst them. A more recent release is from Viseart, and this is the Liaison palette. It is a cool toned purple palette, and I just, it's so good. I have heard so much hype about Viseart. I've never bought one of their like large palettes. They're like $100 or something, and I just can't do it. But I've heard so many good things. I did buy one of their mini palettes probably a year ago. It was like the Mini 2 or something, and I just did not enjoy it. The shimmer shadows really didn't have an impact, and the mattes weren't enough to save the palette in my opinion, so I did end up ultimately returning it. And then I took a chance on this one because I really, really like the color story. I don't want to say it's rare to find cool tone because I think it's becoming more and more prevalent, but finding a cool toned palette that's not like all taupe, has those nice, like there's a nice lilac in here and the bright purple. This row of shimmers across the middle are all gorgeous. So the colors really spoke to me, and I am so glad that I took the chance. And it is very pricey, like it's $70 for this palette, so good God. But I am so blown away with the quality of it. The mattes, spot on. Like they are not patchy, they blend beautifully, they blend with each other nicely. And the shimmers are just everything that I was missing in that mini palette. So I'm going to swatch just the shimmery shadows here, but like you can see even just the silver is like, good God, it's beautiful. So I have no complaints about this palette whatsoever. Another palette that isn't like every other palette out there is from Natasha Denona, and it's the Cranberry palette. I'm going to admit that I have a hard time coming up with looks just using this palette. I do find that I need to bring in a few other like transition / crease shades, but these ones in and of themselves, so beautiful. So I am going to swatch all of them for you just so you can see. This deep purple shade, it's not nearly as purple in application as it looks in the pan. And you'll see that in a second here. So there's the palette here, and this is the deep purple. So you can see it's nowhere near as intense as it looks in the pan. That may or may not be a good thing depending on your position on that. This shade right here, the pink sparkly thing, oh my god, I could bathe in it. It is so pretty. I love the True Red. I love that this shade isn't necessarily copper. It's sort of like a metallic peach shade. It's just like a, I don't know, it's like if peach and gold had a baby, that would be the color that it would be. It's stunning. It's so beautiful. I do, like I said, use other palettes with this and like use these as sort of like a spotlight shade, if you will. But they're just so beautiful. Her shadows are very expensive, but the quality is there. Urban Decay Born to Run. This was sort of like the sleeper hit of last summer. And you can kind of see why. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff going on in here. This is a really great, like, just grab and go kind of palette because you can make very neutral looks with it. There are little pops of color all throughout. There's a mix of mattes and shimmers, and they all just work really well with each other. I like the packaging even. Like, I like that it folds back. I like that it's like the hard plastic. It does have a mirror. I like that Urban Decay restrained themselves and did not put a brush in here just because there's no extra like wasted space or anything like that going on in this palette. It is just a very user-friendly thing. And I find that these shadows are very consistent within themselves as well. So there's not, you know, shadows in here that I just never use because they're patchy or they flake off or anything like that. They're all very consistent across the board. I do find that Urban Decay is hit or miss. I'm not a big fan of their Naked line. I just don't find that the shimmers and whatnot are as impactful as I would want them to be. I don't have that same complaint with this palette here. I do find that the more shimmery shadows are just that. They are shimmery and they're not glittery, but they're just beautiful. They're so beautiful. So there's just a very small selection of them, and you can see that they are rather reflective. They are quite smooth to apply, and like I said, they do last well throughout the day as well. So for at least versatility's sake and the consistency's sake, I really do like this palette, and I would strongly recommend it, especially if you are like starting out and you don't have a very extensive collection. Because you have so many options here, I think it's a great palette if you want to keep your collection small or, like I said, you're just starting out. All right, that is it. Those are my recommendations. There's a ton, I'm aware, but those are the ones that I stand behind and I really do enjoy using. So I'd love to hear from you on what it is that you recommend, what it is that you are planning to pick up, if anything, and just sound off down below. I'd love to hear from you. So I am going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.